just back at the studio we recently finished. Quite a few people in the comments section were asking if we can do a sound test directly outside the door to see what kind of leakage there is. We're going to get Jacob on the kit. We'll get a dB meter outside. Let's just see how loud it is outside the doors. So let's have a little look at the door system. Obviously on this studio we've got two doors. These are sand filled, so they're super chunky. If I knock on that, you can hear very dense. Also, the key thing with this is that we've got some seals on the inside. On this one, we've got like a double seal, and the seal actually goes all the way around the door. So this seal is actually offered up to the door once the door's been hung, so there's no gaps, and it actually goes completely the way round. So on the inside we've got the same system, and this door's also filled with sand. So obviously once we close the door, we get a very tight fit. And we can also hear when we shut the second door, there's quite a bit of air compressing outside the cavity. Okay, so we've shut this door. And we've got a super quiet room. A few people in the comments section asking about the window system. On the outside we've got a UPVC window, which is maintenance free. And on the inside we've built our own timber frame window, which is obviously fairly deep. Walls are around 35 centimeters thick. And we've got 3 double glazed units on the inside of the window here. We've also got a pretty decent cavity in the middle. What we found early on with some of these, the outer window used to steam up a little bit, and that was because of the thermal efficiency of the space in between the panes of glass. Now we leave an air gap, and we've also got a couple of breather holes, which you can't see from here, in the top of the window, so that allows any moisture to escape, but no loss of sound. We also advise that with the windows, the landscape window usually performs a little bit better because the kick drum, which is obviously the loudest thing and the one with the deepest frequency, is at a fairly low level. So if you have portrait windows, what tends to happen is they tend to resonate a little bit more, but at a higher level. So this is about 1.2 meters off the floor. The glass contains the sound and sort of matches the density of the wall, and it works pretty well. So just to give you a reference on the side, this room is 4.5 by 3.5 externally, and internally we've got 3.8 by 2.8. So there's kind of enough room for quite a decent sized kit there. Got another kit here, so it's enough to get 2 kits in. As mentioned in the previous video, this one has got the air conditioning system. A couple of comments in the last video. Obviously it's kind of a little bit noisy when we switch that on, mainly because of the camera compressing the sound of it. It's off at the moment. Obviously if you're recording, you would generally turn that off. Obviously the acoustic panels will zap up a lot of the sound which is bouncing around. On this one we haven't got any panels on the ceiling, but sometimes we put panels above the kit if that was required. The other bit of information is about the ceiling height. Obviously with this studio we've got a room within a room. Externally we've got around 2.5 meters, which means we can stay within planning. Obviously to get a room within a room and a raised floor, internally we're getting roughly 2.1 meters. So you can't have super high ceilings on these rooms unless you get the planning permission, and then obviously you can go much higher. But obviously that's got a cost element to it. So to work within 8-foot sheets of stuff and, you know, timber, you know, it keeps the sort of cost, you know, reasonable. Obviously there's a lot of materials in these rooms, so it does zap up a lot of cost per square meter. So we're just about to do a sound test. Let's have a look at the kit quickly. So we've got a 20-inch bass drum, 10, 12, 14-inch toms. This bass drum is super punchy. So there's plenty of bass end in this. Obviously plenty of attack on the snare and the toms. It's a sort of fairly mid-level kit, but it's as Elliot was saying in the last video, it sounds amazing. Obviously in this room it records really well. So just doing a quiet sound test in the studio. We seem to be getting around 37 dB on this. There's obviously my breath, which camera's going to be picking up. There's also a clock just over there, which I can actually hear ticking. Now we've all gone quiet. Just to put it in context, 30 to 40 dB is like a quiet whisper. We've got 50 to 65 dB is a quiet office. Farm tractors around 98 dB. Pneumatic jackhammer is around 110. Thunder can be up to about 120. So the room is containing, we'll probably see when we do the test with Jacob, we seem to be getting 110, 115 with the sound test inside. So it's got to attenuate a massive amount of noise in the studio. So let's get Jacob in, we'll do the sound test, and let's see what people think. Feel free to put some comments below, and anything else you'd like to see, we'll try and accommodate that in future videos. Okay, so we're just about to do the sound test in the studio. This is sound test number 2. From the previous video, we did one with Elliot, we did one with myself. Jacob's going to play now. How loud are you, Jacob?
Really quiet, actually.
No, he's very loud. So we just did a little bit of a go at this, and he's getting up to 110, 116, 117, so it fluctuates between those levels. Let's get Jacob playing, we'll go outside and let's see what the dB meter's doing outside the first door, then the second door. We'll go outside the window, we'll get him to stop and start a few times, and let's just see what difference that makes. If you want to really monitor this, get some headphones on so you can really hear what the sound is actually coming out, because obviously your computer or your iPhone or your telephone is going to compress it, you're not going to hear much. So just so it's a fair test, get some headphones on. Okay, Jacob, so you start playing, let's see how loud you are. Okay, so we're just outside the first door. It's a bit of background noise as well today, so okay, we're getting about 92 sort of as the peak there. Let's shut the second door. Okay, so we're getting like 53, 54, which if I remember rightly was the ambient noise outside here on the last test. Let's just move around the front of the building. So we're really close to it. What we'll probably find, I think you'll probably hear this on the headphones, is the kick drum is actually pointing in this direction. So obviously the window's doing its job, it's got 8 layers of glass. What we find is the direction of the bass drum, whichever way that's pointing, you're going to hear the kick drum a little bit more. So it sounds a little bit more thuddy at this front end. That's a donkey going around the corner. So what I'll do is let's put this on here. So it's a tiny bit louder on the front, probably because I've put this on the actual building as well, so it's lent on the window frame. Let's just I'll take that off there. Let's get Jacob to stop. Start again. So Jacob's playing there. We're getting 49 to 53. Obviously increases when I start talking. If we stop him again. So as he's starting playing again, it doesn't actually really affect the meter. We are hearing the kit a little bit outside the building, which is what you'd expect. Obviously, the further away you get, the more that will dissipate, as we've shown in the test where we're 10 meters away.
Must be quite a quiet area, aren't we?
We're in a very quiet area, and that's true. Let's just have a little walk around the building. So Jacob's still playing. What you get a little bit more near the door is a little bit at the top end, so the cymbals, the snare drum, a bit less kick. And I think that's because of the direction the kick drum's facing. Obviously the sound waves from that bass drum are just hitting that front wall. Just go a bit further round. Okay, I can still hear the kit a little bit. This is the storage area. So you get a bit further round. And we acoustically decoupled this storage area from the main studio. So this is just round the back. Once again, the thud, you can hear a little bit of kick drum still. Obviously my ears are very tuned into this. And I think once you start locking into the groove and listening out for it, you're going to hear that a little bit more. Sort of right at the back of the studio now. Let's see what the dB meter's saying. Okay, so still between 50 and 53. As I say, the ambient noise in this area was around 53 dB. Compare it with another studio we're building next to a motorway, that was more like 75. So it's pretty quiet around here. Hope you enjoyed the video and it gave you an insight into how the studio performs directly outside the 2 studio doors. Don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe. And if you've got any further comments, leave it in the box below. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.